Have you ever noticed how one song can completely change your mood in seconds? You can be stressed, overwhelmed, angry, sad, exhausted, and then suddenly a song comes on and something shifts. Your breathing changes, your body changes, your emotions change. Sometimes before you even consciously realize it. And I think that's fascinating because at its core, music is vibration. Unlike emotions or thoughts, sound can actually be measured physically as vibrational energy moving through matter. Sound is energy moving through space and waves and frequencies. Our ears receive those vibrations, our nervous system interprets them, and somehow those invisible patterns can completely change how we feel emotionally and physically. Whether we call it mood, emotion, vibration, nervous system response, atmosphere, or energy, music clearly affects us on a very deep level. A song can energize us, calm us, agitate us, move us to tears, help us release anger, help us feel connected. And all of that begins with vibration. That's incredible when you really stop and think about it. And this isn't just some spiritual idea. Science has actually studied the effects of music on the body and the nervous system for a long time. Researchers have looked at things like heart rate, stress response, memory, emotional processing, babies responding to sound, and even how music can influence movement and focus. There have even been experiments exploring whether plants respond to music and sound vibration. Some studies suggest certain types of music or frequencies may influence growth patterns, while harsh or chaotic noise appears to stress plants. Other studies found weaker or inconsistent results, or even the opposite. But so while the science there is still debated, I think the bigger takeaway is simply this: living things respond to their environment far more deeply than we sometimes realize. And if rhythm and vibration can influence living systems at all, it makes sense to wonder how deeply sound might affect us as human beings too. Now, I want to be careful here because I don't want to exaggerate or misrepresent things. There are definitely claims online that go way beyond what science actually supports. But I also think it's important to not ignore something humans have instinctively known for thousands of years. Across cultures and throughout history, humans have used music in rituals, celebrations, mourning, dancing, worship, meditation, war, healing practices, storytelling, and emotional expression. Why? Because music changes how we feel. And honestly, one of the strongest examples of this might actually be babies. Long before babies understand language, they respond to sound, rhythm, tone, heartbeat patterns, and lullabies. Parents instinctively sing to calm children. Soft, repetitive sounds can soothe the nervous system. Rhythm itself seems to matter. And that raises one interesting question. If sound affects us before we even fully understand words, how deeply does music affect us throughout our entire lives? What's also interesting is that music doesn't affect everyone the same way. Some people calm down listening to soft piano music or country music. Other people feel calmer listening to heavy metal, hard rock, or intense emotional music. And I remember reading studies in school discussing how certain people actually became more agitated listening to music styles that relaxed other people. That makes sense when you think about it. Music isn't just sound. It's memory, it's emotion, association, personality, experience. What calms one nervous system may overstimulate another. Sometimes calming music helps regulate emotion, but other times emotional release regulates emotion. And I've experienced that personally. During my divorce, I listened to Michael Bolton's When I'm Back on My Feet Again over and over and over again. That song literally helped me through the divorce because at a time when everything felt uncertain and painful, it reminded me there was still a future version of me beyond what I was going through. It gave me hope before I fully felt hopeful again. And interestingly, music doesn't always shift energy by calming us down. Sometimes it shifts energy by helping us safely release what we're feeling. For example, if somebody really angers me at karaoke, instead of lashing out, I'll sing Cinderella's Nobody's Fool. Nobody's fool, nobody's fool. And somehow that emotional intensity gets redirected into expression instead of conflict. And I think a lot of people do things like this without even realizing it. People drive while blasting music after a hard day. People cry to music. People work out to music. People dance to music. People grieve through music. And people celebrate through music. Music becomes a safe place for emotion to move. And honestly, I think that's part of why music can feel almost trance-like sometimes. For example, when I was younger, I used to go dancing and completely lose myself in the music on the dance floor. It was almost like entering another state of awareness where everything else disappeared for a while. Now I use hand dancing sometimes, and I still notice that same feeling. The movement, rhythm, focus, and emotional together create a shift in my internal state. And when you really think about it, humans have always done this. Drumming, dancing, chanting, swaying, rhythm, movement, over and over throughout history. And maybe that's not accidental. Maybe rhythm and sound interact with us more deeply than we fully understand yet. Now, I also want to touch carefully on something else. I think part of being human is that we naturally search for ways to change how we feel inside. Relief, escape, comfort, release, euphoria, calm. And unfortunately, sometimes people search for that in harmful ways, like drugs or alcohol. But music can also create powerful emotional and physical shifts in a much safer way. Music can shift emotional states in powerful ways. It can help people process grief, release anger, feel connected, regulate emotion, or simply feel less alone. And while music isn't a replacement for medical care, therapy, or a serious treatment when people need help, I do think music can be one of the healthiest emotional outlets humans have ever had. Maybe that's why concerts feel electric, or why crowds synchronize emotionally, why movie soundtracks change how scenes feel, why certain songs instantly bring back memories, why goosebumps happen during powerful moments in music. Our bodies respond, our emotions respond, something shifts, energy. And maybe that's part of what makes music so powerful, not because it's magic, but because humans themselves are deeply responsive to rhythm, sound, memory, emotion, and vibration. So maybe music isn't just entertainment. Maybe it's one of the oldest ways humans have ever learned to influence energy inside ourselves and around each other.